The following is a presentation of William Patterson University Television, WPTV.
Welcome back to the desk. Baseball has never been better. And here to break down the latest in the MLB, we have Anthony, Calvin, Andrew. Yes, Andrew. It took me a second, I'm sorry. And Frenchie, I call him Joe. Joe, this is not for you. And Cal, I don't know where you sit, but us three right here, we're very happy because the New York Yankees are moving along fast. They're the best team in the MLB. They're the best team in the MLB. So, Cal, we'll go to you. And they've had a phenomenal pitching staff, and their bullpen's been immaculate as well. Out of the starters, who you're going to take? Yeah, I'm bringing out some terminology. I got you, some SAT words.
Yeah, I am a Yankees fan, just so you know. I do claim the Yankees. If you ask Antonio Baldessar, he would say that the Yankees probably haven't won a game all season. But the Yankees are very good. And let's take a look at some of the starters. My starter that I chose was Nestor Cortes. If we take a look at his stats real quick, he has 32 innings, a 1.41 ERA, 42 strikeouts, 11 walks, and only 20 hits in 6 appearances. He throws absolute frisbees. I love to see it, and he's got all-star numbers, to say the least. And I got big things for him. High hopes.
Andrew, you've been off the desk so long, that's probably why I forgot your name to start off. But who are you going to take?
I'm going to go Jamison Tyone, J-Mo. He has had a great season, 30 and 2 innings, a 2.93 ERA, 3.25 VIP, and his strikeouts are 25. He has 25 strikeouts. And you know what? Last year, he had a worse start against the Phillies. Ever since then, he's bounced back, and he's been an all-star caliber player.
Anthony?
I've always been a big fan of this player. Jordan Montgomery is my guy. I've always loved Montgomery. I'm so happy he's bounced back this year. 31 innings, 2.90 ERA, 24 hits allowed, a FIP of 3.22, and a WHIP of 0.94. My big thing about him, though, is that he's a lefty. He's not a hard-tossing lefty, and this kind of goes with Nestor Cortes Jr. He faces a lot of right-handed hitting lineups, like the Red Sox, like the Blue Jays, and he's done good against them. So the fact that he's done that is really gone a long way. He actually hasn't won a game yet because the Yankees give him no run support, which is even more impressive that he's still able to knuckle down in these situations.
Joe?
Listen, I think the Yankees are very proud of this guy, the way how he's matured as a player. It's Luis Severino. I'm a big Sevy guy. I mean, take a look at his stats. He's 2-0 so far, 28.2 innings pitched with a 4.08 ERA, which I don't think, that doesn't define who he is as a pitcher. He has 31 strikeouts, tied for 43rd in the league, and he's allowed 29 hits. Overall, though, Luis Severino, the 28-year-old, very solid guy. I think he's one of the reasons as well why this rotation and why the team doesn't go very far into the season.
I love it. Sevy hasn't pitched in such a long time, and to see him come back after 3 years missed, I just love it. But Garrett Cole, anybody? That's the best pitcher on the Yankees. Come on. Look at it. He has 30.1 innings, 2.67 ERA, 37 strikeouts. His xFIP, which is expected FIP, which is fielding independent pitching, that only strikeouts, walks, and hits. So it's a 3.5, and he's only given up 23 hits. I think this dude's going to bounce back. I said he's going to be top 3 in Cy Young. Y'all scoffed at me. And look at him now. He's still a premier pitcher. He's going to pitch tonight. So it's going to be really interesting. And I love that the Yankees pitching is doing so well. And their hitting's doing well. They just beat a team 15-7 last night. Keeping it in New York. And I know you're going to like this one, Frenchie. Francisco Lindor is getting a lot of money, too. I know a lot of people talk about Garrett Cole and how much money he's getting, but Francisco Lindor is making a whole lot of money as well, and he's kind of inconsistent. So, Andrew, we'll go to you. Do you think he can lead them to a championship, and do you think he could, even it out and be the player that he was with the Cleveland Guardians?
I think he can. Frankie Lindor, he's always been a contact hitter, and he's with Buck Showalter. Contact hitter, and he's a contact guy. I think he'd really turn around. He has 30 hits. He has a 710 OPS, and I really think he can turn it around in 32 games, a 238 batting average. Hey, that can go up. And with 18 RBIs, he'll only skyrocket, and I think he can turn it around.
Anthony?
I've always been big on Frankie Lindor. I mean, you look at his numbers, the 5 home runs, the 238 average. It's not that impressive, but he's actually been a lot better than what those numbers suggest. He had a really good start of the season. He's kind of cooled off a little bit. Overall, I expect him to bounce back. And even hypothetically, if he doesn't bounce back, the Mets offense is so good with Canna and Alonso and McNeil and Marte and Escobar and Nimmo that they can afford to have him not be at his best, and they can still go a long way. So even if he doesn't bounce back, they should be fine, but I think he'll be fine.
So, but Joe, you just bouncing off of what Anthony said right there. That man's getting paid a lot of money. He's getting paid $30+ million.
Yes, he is.
And he has a $300+ million contract. As a Met fan, How does it feel for you if he doesn't contribute to this team?
Well, first of all, Uncle Steve gives him the 10-year deal worth $341 million. He basically got his first pay, which is $43.3 million a year. And as a Mets fan, if he don't produce at a high level, obviously, in New York, it's kind of disappointing. You're giving him a lot of this money. We know he's a superstar. He's an all-star athlete. That's not the problem. The problem is, you have to live up to this contract. And you have to produce a lot, each game, defensively, offensively. But I think as the season goes along, even though he had his worst numbers last year in April and in May, this season's been a little bit better. But I think overall, as the season progresses, he's still a true leader on the team, and I think offensively he's going to produce better. Defensively, I think he's very good as well at the shortstop position.
Yeah, that's a premier position, and defensively, I think he's fine. Offensively, last year he was an average player if you look at his OPS.
Worst numbers in his career.
Yeah, so I think hopefully he bounced back. I think he can. Cal, do you think he will?
Yeah, I absolutely think he can bounce back, but even if he doesn't, the Mets were still the first team to reach 20 wins in all of MLB. I think they have a real shot at winning the whole thing, and I think if Lindor plays well, I think they absolutely have a shot. And fun fact, if the Mets do win the World Series, it would be the first time in MLB history that two different teams from the same division won the World Series in consecutive years.
And we saw them win in 2019 as well, as the Nationals won and the Dodgers won in 2020. So the NL has been dominating recently. Anthony, let's go to you. We talked about some good things so far on this block. Let's get negative. There's been a lot of teams who had a lot of expectations coming into this year. Who do you think's flopped the most and who's been just flat out disappointing?
Samory, you kind of hinted at this team earlier. I'm with the Chicago White Sox. I've been really disappointed with them so far. They're 15-15.
Luis Robert's supposed to be the MVP.
Luis Robert was said by a friend of ours.
Joe Palantonio.
Joe Palantonio. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was expected to be. They were expected to be really good, but Tony La Russa is a god-awful manager. Let's just call it like it is. He's terrible. They're 15-15. The offense hasn't really been there. The pitching's been really good. Dylan Cease has had a really good year. I know he got lit up yesterday. He's had a really good year. Michael Kopech's gross. Lucas Giolito was really good. I know Lance Lynn is hurt, so I get they do have some injuries going on. But overall, you expect the offense to be better with Robert, Anderson, Abreu, Grandal. They've really played down this year, and I want to say I expect them to bounce back, but with La Russa at the helm, I really can't commit to that.
Cal?
Yeah, I think for my team, I'm going to go a little bit surprising. I'm going to go the Texas Rangers. In the offseason, they signed Corey Seager, you get Marcus Semien, Cole Calhoun, and John Gray. No one expected them to be like true World Series contenders, but they did expect everybody to take a little bit of a step forward. And this team just really hasn't. They're 13-17 early on, which is almost as bad as the Oakland A's, who are literally trying to lose. Yeah. So
that is a fact. Andrew?
I'm going to go Seattle Mariners. They're 14-18 right now. They're expected to win this division the whole year, essentially. And you know what? They got Robbie Ray, Cy Young player, not performing at all. And they have Logan Gilbert, who's dominating right now. They got Jesse Winker. He's struggling right now. I expect them to turn it around, but right now, I don't think they can.
Joe, close us out.
I'm sticking in the NL East. I'm going to Philadelphia Phillies, a city of Brody Love. They're ranked 25th in bullpen. I think the bullpen's one of the reasons why they've been very, disappointing so far this season. And listen, you look at their lineup: Bryce Harper, Castellanos, Schwarber. A Mets killer. They have the bats, but when you look at the numbers defensively, they might be one of the worst number-wise defensively out there. But it's very disappointing. And listen, they blew the game against the Mets in ninth inning, winning 7-1. That's a bullpen problem. Then last night they put the Dodgers winning 7-1 again, and they blew it once more, and they lost that game. So for the Phillies, very disappointing the way how they're managed to by Joe Girardi. He might be on the hot seat.
Yeah. You know who's disappointing, and I love it? The Boston Bad Sox. But the MLB season is moving along, and here on the desk, we're going to go to the seventh inning stretches. We're going to toss a heater to J-Pat, a.k.a. the General Jimmy Patton, and the NFL crew, and they will tell you who the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL are, only here on the finale of WP Sports Desk.